Hey homeschool friends, welcome back to the channel. Actually, welcome to the last update of the year. So this year I decided to make monthly homeschool updates, which I have really enjoyed. I hope you guys have as well. But this is the last one of the 2021-2022 school year because currently we are planning on finishing like the end of May, early June time frame. And I have a number of end of year videos I have planned. I'm going to plan like a second grade recap, a first grade recap, I think kind of an end of year reflections video. I just have a number of things planned that I'm really excited for. So stay tuned for all of that. But as for monthly updates, I'll start those back up in the fall. But anyway, stay tuned for my April homeschool update video. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to the channel if you're new here, or welcome back if you have been coming for a while. In these updates, I tend to try to be a little chatty, talk a little bit about my life, our family subjects, as well as individual subjects. So to jump right into kind of life updates, if you have been following my channel for the last couple of months, you know that my husband had a pretty serious surgery middle of April, and so had a number of videos pre-planned and uploaded to this channel, but I have been taking a bit of a break. But I did want to update you on how that all went, and thankfully my husband did really well in his surgery. It was definitely anxiety inducing as I was sitting in the waiting room, but he did really well and he's recovering, and all of that is just wonderful, and I feel like that has brought the stress level down in our house quite a bit. So that is a huge life update. And actually something kind of fun came out of that because the week after the surgery, I took off from homeschool for the most part. I mean, we did a little bit of reading, we did a little math facts, but what I did end up doing was a bunch of science experiments and art projects. And you guys, I loved it. It was so much fun to have like a dedicated time frame for that, because in the past I never find time and I'm always feeling kind of guilty that we're not getting to these fun things. But I think I might be changing my schedule for next year. So stay tuned throughout the summer when I discuss that, because I'm now thinking of potentially having like a science or enrichment sort of week, like 6 weeks on, 1 week off sort of a schedule. I'm not sure. I'm thinking about it. So anyway, we have that. And then I do have a couple other general things I'm thinking about. So I'm actually thinking about doing standardized testing. I haven't done it yet, but I'm thinking about it. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to, because in my state, we have to do it starting in 3rd grade and every odd year after that. And that's not this year because my son's in 2nd grade, but I thought I might do a practice year because we have to do it anyway. And I'm feeling anxious about it. So I thought maybe I should just do it to help myself feel better and to give him a little bit of practice at the standardized test. So I'm thinking of doing like the CAT test or things like that. So I'll keep you guys updated. Maybe I'll do a video on it if it goes well or if I have something to say about it. But I'm thinking about doing that. But as for like end of year plans, we are getting close. I'm thinking of finishing up end of May, early June. We're not going to finish all of our curriculum, but we're going to be close. And I'm mostly thinking about like math and phonics or reading programs. We're going to be on like lesson 160 of 170 or something like that. So we're near the end. So I'm feeling fine to stop there and maybe even continue some of that into the summer. I'm putting together my summer school plans, which I have a video coming out about that. So I'm contemplating pulling some of that throughout the summer or pulling some other stuff into our summer to keep those skills going. And so yeah, we're not going to finish everything, but that's okay. And so that is what I have for kind of general stuff and general homeschool things going on. As for family subjects, I love our family subjects. I don't think I've ever said that I don't love them. And most of those subjects are Sunlight subjects. And as for history, Bible literature, where we're doing HBLK, we're doing really well. We're actually on our very last reader. And then my plan is to double up a bit on our history and science and not have a read aloud going for maybe the last 4 weeks, because we're a little bit behind. It's almost like we have like 6 weeks of Sunlight left for 4 calendar weeks. And so I just need to kind of compress it a bit. I'll probably end up dropping a few things, like for instance, we are in the 2nd book of the Heroes and Happenings for the history part of HBLK, and these are wonderful, and my kids are at a good age where they really can engage with the information, but I'm sure there's a few that we could skip if we need to. Currently, I'm thinking about finishing them all, but I'm not too worried if we don't. And not having a read aloud will be a little bit of a bummer for my kids, but they are really excited for after we finish our Sunlight program, because I promised them that once we were done, we were going to start Harry Potter number 3. So let me grab it for you. So that is this one. So it's the illustrated book. It's The Prisoner of Azkaban. I mean, I love Harry Potter, and these books in particular are just gorgeous. They have some just like amazing pictures and illustrations, and we are on the schedule of reading one every year. So it always happens kind of after we finish up our school year. So it's a bit of a prize or incentive for my kids to finish strong so that we can start Harry Potter, and then we can potentially watch the movie, parts of the movie. I feel like that might be a little bit more scary than the first and second, so I'm excited for that. And then I always talk about our read alouds, and it hasn't really changed. I thought we would have more time during the month of April while my husband was home and we just had a little bit more time, but we didn't. It was pretty tough at times, and so we didn't get as much done, but we are still going along on the books I talked about last time. Actually, we're 2 chapters from finishing this one. My kids love this book. I wouldn't be surprised if this was within their top like 3 books of the year, which I am going to do a review for the Sunlight HBLK, but they love this book. It is so much fun. It's about this pig named Flora, who is a very adventuresome pig, and she has high goals for herself, and she ends up in the Antarctic on this expedition ship, and things kind of go from there, and she just proves herself as just like a loyal friend and a hard worker and just very brave, and it's just a very sweet story about friendship and about like overcoming hard things. So I have loved this, The Adventures of the South Pole Pig by Chris Kurtz. And we are still working our way through these 2 books. I'm a little bit over it, and to be honest, I feel like I need a little bit more modern books, and I wish we would have picked a modern and a more classic, but that's okay. My kids are still interested and they want to know what happens, and we're pretty far in both of them. Like, we are close to the end of Nancy Drew and close to the end of this Boxcar Children. So we will finish these shortly, definitely in the next month. And we're liking them. I'm just a little bit over them, and I think my kids are as well, because they're not begging me to read them. They're interested to know, but not really enough to pick it up more often than we normally do, if that makes sense. So those are our read alouds. Science is going well. Science experiments were fantastic. I really should have videoed some of it, but we just had a ton of fun, so I didn't. And then I'm trying to think, since we did science and art, we finished up this one. We finished up Artistic Pursuits, and this is volume 1 of the K through 3 program. I think I might make a review video of this. It took us a while to get all the way through the program, but my kids really liked it, and they still pull out all the art materials, and so that was a really big hit. And I'm glad we had that dedicated week to just kind of finish out the program, or we might have been doing it next year as well. So anyway, that was kind of part of family subjects, impromptu family subjects, if you will. And now 2nd grade. Okay, so this is actually really exciting. So my son, who's 8.5 now, he is reading independently. Like, he is now picking up his own books. He has a new privilege of being able to read at bedtime, and he gets about 15 minutes and he has to turn off his light at 8 o'clock. It is definitely like a new accomplishment and something that his sister and brothers cannot do. So he's really jazzed. And let me find what we've been doing. So he's been reading these books. So they're part of the Scholastic Branches, and it's the Dragon Masters books. And so what we ended up doing with these is they have been listening to these books on audio. So like the whole series is on audiobooks. They've been listening to them for probably the past year. They love the stories, all that stuff. And then it got to a point where he could pick it up, and he is probably able to read these on his own probably quicker because he already has the general storyline in his brain. He knows what's happening. And so even if he kind of trips over some words or doesn't know all the words, he already knows the story. And so he can feel confident in the fact that he's finishing books because he knows the story already, but he's actually reading them himself. So I was so happy that I was able to pair audiobooks with the first series that he is picking up independently, like not reading aloud to me, reading aloud to himself, pretty much. He's in his own room reading aloud. He said he tried to read in his head, but he couldn't quite, but it doesn't matter. I'm like, just read out loud then. And so that's what he's been doing. It's so great. I am so happy. We've been on quite the journey with him on reading and phonics. And so to stick with phonics, we're still doing Abeka and All About Reading. We're finishing out. We're really at the tail end of all of that. He is reading out loud to me twice in a day. The morning one is associated with Abeka, so the Abeka readers, and the afternoon is typically associated with the Sunlight readers. And since we are going to attempt to pick back up Sunlight for language arts for next year, we're catching up on some of the readers that he missed to prepare him to go into the grade 3 readers for next year. I think we'll just do Sunlight over the summer. That's my plan, but stay tuned for my summer plans video when I actually have it all nailed out. But that's all going really well, and I'm actually really excited to get to next year because we started Abeka late this year, so we've been doubling up on a lot of the lessons, and it will be fantastic to not be doubling up. He'll have less worksheets, he'll have just less work when we get to grade 2 starting next year, and I'm really looking forward to that. As for math, Saxon, math is going well. We're going to keep working on his math facts, and I need to go back to some of your guys' comments, I think from one of the past videos where I talked about trying to figure out what to do for him for math facts, because you guys had some good ideas. So I will look back on that and use some of those ideas probably for this summer, but otherwise Saxon is going really well. As for EIW, okay, Essentials in Writing. We did grade 2 this year. We went mostly through a lot of the grammar. We started the writing, and it's not a great fit. Okay, EIW I feel like is really good in a lot of ways because I liked the DVDs. I liked the way it was taught. I liked the teacher. I like the worksheet. My son likes it. So it's not that. What I am struggling with writing is that no matter what program I use, he seems to just kind of be a deer in the headlights. And so like the program will be working on paragraphs. And so he'll watch the DVD of Mr. Stevens explaining paragraphs. Like they'll talk about like, what's your favorite food? Pizza. And then you'll have like 3 ideas under that and like a concluding sentence or whatever. The problem is my son ends up copying a lot of that. So say Mr. Stevens says, I love pizza. So his first line will be, I love chicken nuggets. So he copies it word for word and just replaces it. And then the last thing will be like, chicken nuggets are yummy, which is exactly the same as the DVD, right? And so what I'm thinking and what I'm learning is that where we struggle is not so much the format, which is kind of what drove me to EIW. I'm like, it's so formatted. It'll help me help him format and know how to write. But I don't think that's it as much as like original thought. Like he doesn't know what to say. He's kind of like I said, a deer in the headlights. And where that has led me is to pick up, let me grab it. I picked up The Writer's Jungle from Julie Bogart. So I have looked into Bravewriter stuff before. I find it a little bit confusing. I find her style a little too loose and flexible, but I think a lot of it is I just don't understand exactly how it works. And so what I decided to do, instead of like buying Bravewriter materials, I thought I would look into her instructions on how to teach writing, which is The Writer's Jungle. This is to the parent. And to me, this makes the most sense. If I could understand this, because I don't need help in like copy work or anything like that. I have Sunlight does that. So many other things take care of stuff like that. What I need help with is how to encourage the words out of my son, if that makes sense. And I feel like no program has helped me with that. They either give me too much structure or not enough structure, but not enough teaching for me to know how to draw that out of my son. And so my plan is to spend the summer reading this. I'm just going to read it. I'm going to see if I can understand it. I'm going to see if she has some points that I can bring in to how I instruct my son and maybe make that coincide with Sunlight. I'm not sure. I really am not. It might be something that totally falls by the wayside and it just doesn't fit me. I just really need to answer that question. I need to research it and answer that question because I feel like I'm not doing a very good job of knowing how to encourage and inspire his own words to then put in a format of some sort. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like I'm a big ball of confusion always when it comes to writing. But that's where I'm at with EIW. So we're just tabling EIW for these last 4 weeks. I still have the program. We could go back to it. I'm not going to sell it. I'm actually probably going to do a review on how it has worked for us and give some more details and description of stuff like that. But for now, I'm tabling it, and it's not really the program's fault, I don't think. So that's where I'm at with that. Okay, I'm going to move away from my son because I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. Spelling's fine, handwriting's fine. So I'll move to my daughter, my first grader. She is doing Abeka and All About Reading as well. She hasn't quite taken off. I feel like she is still very much in the blending stage. I mean, it comes and goes for her. I feel like she can sometimes blend just fine. Other times she really is still a little bit stuttery as she sounds out her words, which is fine. We'll just keep practicing. And I have seen a lot of growth in her since we started Abeka. And so I'm happy to continue with that. And then now I'm trying to decide if I'm also going to keep All About Reading in the mix with her. Probably. I'm thinking probably, but I'm not sure. Wait for those curriculum videos for when I actually figure it out. And the same thing as her brother, we read twice a day, once associated with her program, so the Abeka K5 readers. And then in the afternoon, we started using the Sunlight Level 1 readers, so those are the I Can Read It readers. I'll put up a picture. I should have just brought it with me. And those, I'm not sure why, but she stumbles a lot over those. And so I kind of come and go with those. And so I've been using a lot of the Good and the Beautiful books. So the box C is about where she's at. And we'll just keep going from there. I want her extra readers to be within her skill set, so it's not too hard, but it's also not too easy. You know what I mean? And so moving on, math. Saxon math, she's doing great. She's intuitive with her facts, like I've said. So she's doing really well where she's at. We'll just keep plugging away. And then, I was doing lightning literature with her. I stopped. We just don't have the time. And it just felt like unnecessary, especially as I have already put forward a plan for her for next year that's going to cover all the grammar, early composition, as well as reading comprehension stuff. And so I'm just letting that go for now and just easing out the school year. This happens in the spring, right? I feel like, can you all agree with me on this? We just all get a little tired. We want to be done. And the programs that are just like not quite moving the ball down the road, I don't want to spend the energy on anymore. And that's how I feel about Lightning Lit. It is not bad. I probably just need to sell it. It hasn't been a good fit. I've tried to use it and tabled it, reuse it, and I'm tabling it again. So it's not for us, but that's okay. The books are beautiful. The program really is a good program, and I know it works for other people, but not for us. Maybe I will post it and put a link in the description box, so if any of you want to try out Lightning Lit, please let me know. But otherwise, that's my daughter. Preschoolers, my twins are doing great. They're just great little 4-year-olds. They're learning so much in preschools. I'm just so proud of them. They love their teachers. They love play. They're doing great. So anyway, that is my update. I feel like I have maybe forgotten something. I don't know what it is. But yeah, that's where we're at. It's been quite the April, and I'm excited as we wrap up our school year and I can share a lot of that stuff with you guys. Also, let me know down below, how did April go for you? Was it a good month? Did you enjoy your homeschool? Are you ready to be done? Anyway, that's where I'm at. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next homeschool video. All right, take care.